Book nibbles. Big ideas, small bites. Life often feels overwhelming, and for many people, the state of their home reflects the weight of everything they are carrying. Casey Davis begins how to keep house while drowning by naming something that is almost taboo in traditional conversations about cleaning and organization. That difficulty keeping up with household tasks is not a moral failing. For generations, we have been taught that a clean house is a measure of character, self discipline, and worth. Dusty shelves, laundry piles, and messy kitchens are often interpreted as signs of laziness or irresponsibility. Davis dismantles that myth right from the start, reminding the reader that mess is morally neutral. Your value as a human being has nothing to do with how tidy your environment is. That simple truth is a kind of revolution because it allows people, especially those struggling with depression, ADHD, chronic illness, trauma, or overwhelming life changes, to stop viewing themselves as broken and instead see housework for what it is: a set of functional tasks designed to support living, not a scorecard for self worth. From this perspective, Davis reframes cleaning and organizing as acts of care, not tests of virtue. She encourages readers to think of their homes as tools that can either support or hinder their daily lives. A sink full of dishes is not a personal failure. It is simply a barrier between you and your next meal. Laundry on the floor is not evidence of moral deficiency. It is just clothing that isn't in its functional place yet. With this reframe, Davis helps people stop drowning in shame and start approaching housework with compassion and practicality. She points out that when we are exhausted, grieving, burned out, or managing mental health challenges, keeping up with housework can feel like climbing a mountain. But instead of pushing us to climb faster or harder, she hands us better climbing gear: strategies that break the cycle of shame and perfectionism. One of the most powerful tools Davis offers is the distinction between care tasks and the moral narratives attached to them. Care tasks include laundry, dishes, sweeping, wiping, cooking, and organizing. These tasks exist to serve you, not the other way around. If you fall behind on them, that doesn't mean you're unworthy. It simply means you're human, and circumstances have made it difficult to keep up. Davis notes that for people with executive dysfunction or mental health struggles, even the simplest task can feel insurmountable. What looks like just doing the dishes to one person may feel like an impossible cascade of steps: finding the sponge, rinsing the sink, gathering the dishes, clearing counter space, scrubbing, drying, putting things away. By acknowledging this reality, she validates the struggles many face and offers ways to break tasks down into manageable chunks without shame. She shares her own experiences as a mother dealing with postpartum depression, when keeping up with daily chores felt impossible. The turning point for her was realizing that she didn't need to keep house the way she thought a good woman or a good mother should. She only needed to keep house in a way that worked for her and her family in that moment. This philosophy removes the weight of comparison and invites people to design systems that fit their actual lives, not some imagined standard. A recurring theme in Davis's advice is the importance of starting small. Instead of imagining that you need to get your entire house spotless, she suggests the 5 things tidying method. Nearly every mess, she explains, boils down to just 5 categories: trash, dishes, laundry, things that have a place, and things that don't have a place yet. If you can look at your messy living room and say, I only have to deal with these 5 categories, it immediately feels less overwhelming. Pick up the trash first, then gather the dishes, then the laundry, then put away the things you know have homes. Finally, deal with the things that don't yet have a designated home. By simplifying in this way, she creates a roadmap that anyone can follow, even when energy and motivation are scarce. Equally transformative is her discussion of done is better than perfect. Many people paralyze themselves with perfectionist standards, believing that if they can't do a chore the right way, it isn't worth doing at all. But Davis urges the reader to redefine success. Wiping half the counter is better than leaving it sticky. Running a quick rinse on the dishes is better than letting them pile higher. Shoving laundry into a basket counts as progress, even if it isn't folded neatly. In moments when you feel too overwhelmed to do things perfectly, doing a little still lightens the load. Davis reframes shortcuts not as failures, but as tools of survival. Paper plates, disposable wipes, laundry baskets instead of folded stacks. These are all legitimate choices if they make life easier. She is especially compassionate toward parents, caregivers, and people managing illness or disability. For example, she reminds parents that teaching children about cleaning isn't about enforcing military level order, but modeling that care tasks are shared responsibilities. It's okay to involve kids in imperfect ways, to let them help even if their version of clean is sloppy, because it teaches them that mess is manageable and care tasks are normal parts of life. Likewise, for someone with limited mobility or chronic illness, Davis suggests adaptive strategies like sitting while folding laundry, keeping cleaning supplies in multiple rooms so they're accessible, or focusing on the most functional areas instead of the whole house. Davis also talks about the emotional barriers to housework. Shame is a huge one. People avoid cleaning because they feel like they've already failed. But shame only creates more paralysis. By adopting a mindset of compassion, you remove shame from the equation and free up energy to act. Another emotional barrier is resentment. Some people feel that cleaning is endless, thankless, and invisible labor. Davis addresses this by reframing chores as acts of care for yourself and the people you love. Instead of, I have to wash dishes again, think, I'm making it easier for me to eat tomorrow. This mental shift can turn drudgery into kindness. One particularly helpful metaphor Davis uses is the idea of treating yourself like a friend. If your best friend was struggling to keep up with laundry while managing depression, would you call them lazy and useless? Of course not. You would say, it's okay, you're doing your best. Let's just do one small thing together. That is the exact tone she wants readers to adopt with themselves. Self-compassion is not indulgence, it is survival. Throughout the book, Davis weaves in practical tips that make cleaning feel more approachable. She suggests anchoring care tasks to existing routines. For example, loading the dishwasher while your morning coffee brews, or starting a load of laundry before taking a shower. She also talks about lowering barriers. If the laundry never makes it from the basket to the dresser, then maybe the basket is the dresser. If you constantly forget to wipe the bathroom counter, keep a pack of wipes right there. If vacuuming feels daunting, get a lightweight vacuum you can grab quickly. These little shifts make tasks frictionless and therefore more likely to get done. She also emphasizes grace in different life stages. A college student in a dorm will have different needs than a parent of toddlers, who will have different needs than an elderly person living alone. The point is not to enforce a universal system, but to experiment until you find what works. Davis gives readers permission to create good enough systems because life is dynamic and perfection is unattainable. An underlying theme is that survival sometimes looks like letting things slide, and that's okay. You are not failing if your home is messy while you are grieving, ill, exhausted, or just human. She reframes mess as simply the evidence of life being lived. Sometimes survival means using paper plates, wearing the same clothes 2 days in a row, or sweeping only the area you walk on. These are not failures. They are adaptations that keep you afloat when drowning feels inevitable. Toward the end, Davis addresses deeper healing that can come from this new relationship with housework. When you let go of shame and perfectionism, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop equating your worth with your productivity. You give yourself permission to rest. You start to see housework not as punishment, but as an opportunity to create an environment that supports your well-being. She shares stories of people who have applied her methods and felt a profound reduction in anxiety. Not because their homes became perfect, but because they began to view themselves with kindness. Her message can be summed up as, housework is morally neutral. You are not broken, and you deserve a home that supports you, even if it doesn't look like a magazine spread. Instead of drowning in shame, you can dog paddle through survival, using strategies that fit your life right now. The more compassion you extend to yourself, the more energy you'll free up to care for your home in sustainable ways. How to Keep House While Drowning is more than a cleaning book. It is a book about mental health, survival, compassion, and redefining what it means to be good enough. It speaks directly to those who feel buried by expectations and offers them permission to breathe again. Davis's voice is warm, practical, and deeply empathetic, making this guide as comforting as it is useful. It isn't about achieving perfection, but about finding ways to live gently with yourself and your surroundings. And that's it. How to Keep House While Drowning: A Gentle Approach to Cleaning and Organizing by Casey Davis by LPC. Thanks for listening to Book Nibbles. If you enjoyed this bite-sized book, don't forget to subscribe for more quick, insightful summaries. See you in the next nibble.